So over to you, Ben.
Perfect. All right, well, thank you everyone for coming along. As the title says, it's about healthy body at home. Now, really, hopefully this is something that can relate to when we are back in the real world. We're not all stuck in our own little bubbles. But I think it's particularly relevant now that we are, all stuck working from home, self-isolating. So just want to try and give everyone some tips and advice and things you can do to try and make sure you look after what I consider your most important asset, which is your body. So what we'll cover today, I should get rid of the picture of me because I can't see my screen. Perfect. So I'm going to go for a very quick about me. That's right, I put a little afro on that user hair there just to try and make it that. But I'll keep that quick. I don't want to talk about myself too much. Then I'm going to go through a short presentation on the importance of staying healthy while working from home. Then we're going to go through what I call a 15-minute body reset. So that's where we're going to get physical. We're not going to do anything too crazy. We're not going to get hot and sweaty. We're just going to go through some key things to do, and I actually want you guys to take part in this to unwind your body and undo any of the damage we do while sitting. I'll go into it in a little bit more detail. And then at the end, we'll finish with some questions and answers, which, as Alan mentioned, you can either chuck into the comments as we go along. I will address all the questions at the end, though. Or actually, we can do a little mic on session at the end if anyone wants to ask me anything. So, first thing, very quickly about me is my lovely smiling face. So, my name is Ben Davies. I've been a personal trainer for over 8 years, primarily based in the Square Mile in London. So, for those of you who don't know London so well, that's the city centre, so where all the finance and law firms are based. So, I chose to specialise in an area of rehabilitation and movement coaching. And the reason I chose these things was, in the city, one thing I learned was that everyone's job, everyone's lifestyle contributed to their body getting into worse and worse shape. So I started working with patients of chiropractors and physios. For the clinic where I'm based, we have a mix of skills. So I spend a lot of time helping people to get back after they've been to a physio or a chiro and had injuries, getting them back into full fitness. So all the classic PT stuff, your weightlifting and stuff, we're kind of bringing people back from a deconditioned state. And again, the other side of things is working with desk-bound workers. Now, in my mind, that's an injury. If you spend a lot of time sat at a desk, which I have been during this lockdown, and it's horrible, you are going to come out way worse. So although I say rehab and movement coaching, that isn't just for people who are injured, it's for people who are doing other things to make their bodies less healthy. Let's see if my screen wants to behave. There we go, there we go. Takes a few clicks. So just to give you an idea of my qualifications backgrounds. So I do dynamic neuromuscular stabilization, or DNS. So this is a rehabilitation qualification that teaches you to understand how the body's meant to move. Look at a lot of screens are based on how we learn to move. We all learn to move the same way as children. We crawl, we walk. So looking at those principles and applying it to training. NASM, so National Academy of Sports Medicine Corrective Exercise Specialist. Again, learning to retrain the body when we start getting into a deconditioned state. I'm also a precision nutrition coach. I help a lot of my clients with better eating patterns, better eating habits. And on top of that, I'm a golf fitness specialist. So, especially in the city, a lot of my clients like to play golf. Golf's one of those sports that, although it looks quite easy, it can cause a lot of injuries. So I help a lot of clients come back from back problems, get back on the course, which everyone's loving to do right now in England. Okay, so my work is mainly based, as I mentioned, in the city of London, at a place called Elevate LBN. So there I do my personal training, working with my rehabilitation clients, but I'm also a mentor to some of the other personal trainers there. So teaching them various elements of fitness, movement assessment, various things around that. And my other sideline project is Pain Relief Guides, which is a business between myself and a chiropractor. And we create self-treatment and video ebooks. So to help people treat their own injuries, which is particularly useful right now while everyone's stuck at home. People, again, treating themselves for things from back and neck issues to tennis and golfer's elbow. So that's me done. I don't like to talk about myself too much. So the really important stuff is, how can we stay healthy while working from home? Now, I've chosen this stock image. I'm not sure what this woman's doing. I hope she's having a stretch. It looks a bit tired. So let's get into it. So the first thing I always like to say is, we are not designed to sit down, which is not. Our body's designed to move, designed to stand, designed to squat, but sitting is a human invention. Now, you often see these types of images, and we always see like the good posture, bad posture. I look at this, I don't see good posture, bad posture. I see bad posture, worse posture. So the second we're sitting down, we cause a couple of problems. So first off, we've got this nice 90-degree line I've chucked on the screen there at the hips. That's your hips being compressed into that 90-degree position. And the glutes, we said the bum muscles, one of the most important muscles in the body, protects your back, biggest muscle we've got, gets completely compressed, which is, as you can imagine, not particularly good for it, starts to squash it, so the muscle becomes very ineffective. Now, the bad posture side of things really is just taking that bad position and making it worse. So now we've got that upper back rounding, so we start to get very stiff through the upper back, get a compression into the neck, we're rounding forwards like that. Or you get the opposite, where people slouching back in the chair and actually starting to round the lower back, so we start getting issues into the lower back discs, core muscles start to get weak. So either way, even when you're sitting really well, it's not the best thing for you. If you then sit badly, then it's just doubling that up. It's making it a lot worse. So the key things we see is tight hips from sitting. We then get weak glutes, so the bum muscle. Again, really important muscle. We get a weak core. Again, these are the muscles that protect our spine. They do so much for us. It helps to breathe. These are the key muscles in the body. We ruin them when we're sitting down, particularly badly. And having a fight with my mouse here. And a stiff upper back. And again, that causes a lot of problems. When we stiffen the upper back, reduce the amount of movement, suddenly our neck needs to become hypermobile, and we start getting neck problems, or our lower back has to start moving more, and we get lower back problems. Basically, the simple thing is, this all equates to poor movement ability and increased likelihood of injury. So I'm against sitting as much as possible, but I get it. That's what we do these days. The world is all about sitting. So now my issue is, when we work from home, we make this so much worse. Working from home is very different. At least when we're in the office, we're kind of in an environment that was at least semi-designed to work in. You know, we've got the guy working from bed here, we've got people on tables that are the wrong height, people sitting on sofas. We all do it. I've been sitting in front of the TV and I just do a quick bit of work on my laptop, all punched up, and it's really not good. And if I'm just doing that for 2 hours and feeling bad, I can only imagine what it's like doing this all day. So the issues when we're working from home that we really have to look at, one is working on laptops. Now, the problem with laptops is the keyboards and the screen are at the same height. And that means, like this lady here, you end up hunched forwards to look down at your screen. Start getting that strain through the upper back. Any of those neck tension issues, that all comes from looking down at the laptop. So when you're in an office and you're on a proper desktop, or hopefully some of you are lucky enough to have that at home anyway, your keyboard is set up to be the same height as your elbows, so there's no strain on the arms. Your eyes should be in line with the top of the screen. So again, the second we come onto the laptop, completely ruin that. Laptops, you're going to work on them for half an hour, fine. If not, I'll give you some solutions afterwards. The other issue is non-ergonomic desks. How many of you have set up a kitchen table, dining room table? It's not quite the right height. Lifting your elbows up, dropping down to it. We've all done it. Actually, when I made this presentation, I did it on a dining room table, so I'm there as well. But again, there's a few things we can do to try and improve it. Again, non-ergonomic chairs that don't rotate, no armrests, so we start getting more strain into the necks, using some garden furniture, whatever we're doing, when we're at home, it's just not as ideal. So again, it's just multiplying the problems that we already get from sitting. And then less incentive to move. When you're in the office, when you're based at a cafe, wherever you are, you're more likely to stand up and go get a coffee. You're more likely to stand up and go and speak to one of your colleagues. There's a lot more opportunities to move. Even commuting, getting to work, we actually walk to the station, unless you're driving to work, but there's a lot more movement. When your commute to work, it's your bedroom to your living room, and that's it, then we're in a real sedentary time. So these are the kind of compounding issues, but I'm not here to scare you all. I'm here to try and give you some solutions to this. So, can you do? Clearly, I meant to say, what can you do? Proofread my things. Okay. So, first thing, we can look at improving your setup. We'll come on to that. Second thing is moving regularly, ideally every 30 minutes. And the third thing is counteract the unavoidable sitting. Now, I don't know if any of you noticed when we started, I'm up and standing. Now, the reason why I'm up and standing is I have no need to be at a desk right now. So that's one thing to really think about, is how often can you get away from your desk? I mean, all of you right now, you're just watching me, hopefully. You could be standing, or you could be kneeling, or doing something else. We get very attached to those desks. That's just one thing to consider there. So, improve your setup. Start properly. Now, the ideal thing, this is the absolute dream, is the stand-sit desk. There's a nice example of one here. Again, I forget the particular brand of this one, but this is a photo from their website. It's very weird because the office just looks really messy, so I'm not sure what they're trying to promote here. But the idea being, if you can alternate between standing and sitting, that is the optimal way to work. Now, if you stand all day, that's good. But actually, you'll probably find, you speak to anyone who stands for a living for their job, like stand still, hairdressers, and those, they get all sorts of problems. So we're really designed to move. So my favorite is the stand-sit alternating. That variety of spending some time in the hip compressed position, but then opening back up into a tall position, mixing it up, not letting your core muscles get tired from standing for 8 to 10 hours. It's been shown to be the best way. You can mix it up. Again, if you have a stand-sit desk at home, it's a dream. You can spend 30 minutes standing, 30 minutes sitting, alternate. So then over a course of an 8 to 10 hour day, you're spending 4 to 5 hours standing. And actually that really adds up. Even just in terms of, so I'm not particularly looking at the calorie counting element of things today, but actually you burn something like an extra 2 calories, 1 calorie every 2 minutes, which is it doesn't sound very much, but actually it adds up to 30 an hour. You start doing that once a month, and it's like running a marathon every single month. So it's just little minor things on that side of things. But also, there's a whole, again, things I'm not really touching on today, because I kind of want to look at the musculoskeletal element of things, looking after your bones, your joints, your muscles. But in terms of metabolic conditions, spending less time sitting, if you move at least once every half an hour or alternating standing sitting, massively reduces your chance of heart attack, stroke, diabetes. So there's a huge amount of benefits and lots of scientific research behind why it's good to stand. Now, again, there are other ways of doing this. There's loads of cheap products. So, the desk shown here, that's probably quite a decent one, maybe £400 or so. UK GDP, whatever that translates into wherever you are. So it might be a bit of an investment, but you can also get little solutions. I've got a nice £30 converter that I stick up on my desk, laptop up on there, and then down on the keyboard at normal height, and that works perfectly. So it just depends what you need and what your budget is. Again, laptop risers, this is the exact one I've got. This is an absolute lifesaver. This thing is, you can get these, again, probably something in the range of between 20 and £50. So again, convert that into local currency. But I always hammer on about these. If you're going to be working from a laptop for anything longer than 30 minutes, a riser can suddenly turn that into a desktop. So again, that puts you back from the poor sitting position, the extra poor sitting position, back into just regular sitting, which is not the best thing in the world, but again, we're just trying to move along that spectrum of improvement. So laptop risers are absolutely brilliant. Again, well worth the investment. You need a separate keyboard so you're not typing up at a funny angle, separate mouse, and these can make a huge difference, particularly to your upper back and neck. And then the makeshift setup. Now, this is a genuine picture that I took back in my old flat about 6 years ago, actually longer than that. So all I did here was just grab a little coffee table, chucked it up on my table, and then went and grabbed my separate keyboard, and I was able just to work up on this. Now, of course, it's not the best thing in the world. It's not the ideal setup. But if you think of this as a spectrum of the best thing on the left, the best thing I could possibly do is go grab myself a stand-sit desk, invest the money, I know it's going to be good for my health. Amazing. If I can't do that, then at least getting something like a laptop rise would be really good, because that's going to improve my body position when I am sitting. And if you can't do that, stack some books up, like whatever you have to do, you can make it work. Like the amount of times I've literally just piled a box and a book up, put my laptop on top just because I wanted a standing desk when I didn't have one. But it's way worth it, and it's going to massively improve. It's not actually that hard. The only problem with this is when you want to convert back to sitting, it's a bit awkward. So that's where the stand-sit desks have a benefit. They can be obviously refined even further. But if you can't do that, if you laptop rise, if you can't do that, just make a setup, stack some books. So the other thing I think is really important, so you may notice we're looking at how to stop bad things happening in the first place here. So all the problems that occur with sitting, we can just stop them happening, then we don't have to worry about doing too much recovery rehab work. So moving every 30 minutes is really key, if you can do it. I appreciate it's not always that easy. Sometimes the workload's high. But again, so many scientific studies have shown that if you move every 30 minutes, you massively reduce the negative effects of sitting. Now, little things you can do is just walking around your house to go get a drink. So get yourself a small glass of water, drink it. When you finish, walk and get some more. Don't fill up a massive 2-litre bottle that you've just got everything there. You're not camping, you can actually move around and go get stuff. Remember, when you're working from home, you're going to massively reduce the amount of unintentional exercise you get, or the non-deliberate exercise, I should say. So trying to put in a little bit of deliberate movement, even if it's just going to get a drink all of 30 seconds, will make a big difference. Quick stretch. Then you sat at the desk. All do it now. Come on. I can't see you, but I hope you're going to do it. Just reach up, arms overhead, have a little stretch, little rotation, twist the back. Then, if you do that once every 30 minutes, just jump up on your feet, stretch out the hips again, and we'll go through, after this, we're going to go through the body MOT. They make a huge amount of difference. And everyone stand up to make calls. As I said right now, this could, again, it could obviously, when you're on a phone where no one's seeing you, you have no excuse not to stand up and make those calls. But when you're even on Zoom, you can just sat there. I had a Zoom call earlier, and I just knelt down at the desk. I was just like this, opening up my hips, just having a chat. And you couldn't even tell. You can only see the top part of the body. It looks like I'm in a chair. So there's so many little things you can do to try and just get a little bit more movement into your day, a little bit more standing, and more importantly, a little bit less sitting. I guess is the best way of looking at it. So whether it's standing, whether it's stretching, whether it's kneeling, just a variety of movement in the body. Again, coming back to why I'm not a big fan of sitting, we spend this in perfect posture. We're in the same position all day. We're movement machines, we're not stillness machines. So just little things, fidgeting, anything you can do to get moving is going to massively help. And actually one thing you can do to remind you of this is to set a timer. I've got my watch on, and I'll just do that. Half an hour, set timer. It's in some work, I'm doing stuff for pain relief guides, whatever it is. It vibrates, and I'm like, okay. And maybe I'll just finish the little bit I'm typing on now. Okay, great. Then I'll just stand up, have a little stretch, or go out in the garden a second, kick a ball, genuinely anything just to clear my mind and get my body moving. Makes a huge difference. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the next part, the practical element. So that was all theory, to give you an idea of what we're trying to do. So again, to recap, upper back gets very stiff, core muscles get weak, glutes get weak, and the hips get tight. So keep that in mind, because that's what we're going to move on to now. So I'm going to stop my screen share, and hopefully you can see me again. All right. So we're going to go through a short routine. Now the routine has a few specific aims. First one is mobilizing the parts of the body that get tight when we spend all day sitting. Hopefully you're not going to do that. You're going to move. You've already got that. You're on board with it. But these are the things we want to try and undo. The next is to strengthen some of the muscles that get weak. So particularly the core and particularly the glutes. And if you can do that as well, it's just getting blood flow. That's a really important one as well. If you can do that, then we start to counteract any of that negative effects of sitting. And at least just, even if you're not trying to make huge progress, but you're just trying to stop that sitting having such a negative effect on you. So all you're going to need is a small amount of space. So hopefully, I'm not going to force anyone to take part, but hopefully behind your cameras, even though most of you got your camera off,
you should force them to take part. And
okay, have to take part.
You made me feel guilty for sitting all day long, as most people can attest to. So I'm definitely standing up now. I'm having first you depressed me, and then you made me feel guilty. But it's absolutely right. And then there is a question that's coming, by the way. I'll ask that later. But Nish also mentioned that the stretch felt good, so she's obviously stretching as well. So you're helping more than one person already.
Excellent. That is all I can ask for. So yeah, okay. So if you aren't taking part in this, you have to stand up. That's the rule. You've got to at least be standing up. You can't listen to an entire talk on why it's bad to sit while sitting down. That's my idea. It's just to completely guilt you guys into moving a little bit more. So first thing we're going to do is looking at getting the upper back moving. So for this, let's start by lying down. And come on, as an exercise goes, that's a great start. What we're going to do, so I'm going to describe it on one side. So I'm going to lie on my left side, Both arms out in front of me, and I'm going to bend my right leg and place the knee on the floor. Nice and easy. Now, if you find your neck strange, you can just grab something. I've got a little yoga block, but it can be absolutely anything, a jumper, or whatever's comfortable. Then from here, take that right hand, and you're just going to rotate back as far as you can, but not letting let the right leg lift off the floor. So while you're doing this, I want you to just breathe, taking nice deep breaths, keeping relaxed through your shoulders. I'm just going to do about 30 seconds of these. So I would recommend if you're doing these yourself, you go up to a minute. The idea being, this is a routine you can do in 10 to 15 minutes. And each time I'm going a little bit further, I'm trying to slowly get to the floor, but not letting this knee lift up. So we get in here a nice rotation of the back, but I'm also extending the back as my shoulder drops back to the floor. So it's undoing that tight, curled over position that we get during the day. Okay, we do the same on the other side. So I'm going to show you both sides. I'm assuming you're doing it along with me, and I don't want you to get all wonky and walk around in circles all day. So now I'm on my right side, left leg bent, left knee on the floor. I'm rotating. Breathing. So again, this is a perfect one when you're working from home. Very hard to do this in the office without getting funny looks, but when you're working from home, it's fine. There are some benefits. Let's do 3 more of those. Saw some comment pop up there. I'll have a read of them at the end. Okay, nice. So this is, for me, one of the easiest ways to get the upper back moving. It's gentle, it's nice, you don't need much space, you don't need any equipment. That's some of the key things I'm working on here, no equipment needed. So the next thing we're going to do is open up the hips. As I say, you spend all day pressing these hips at 90 degrees. We need to get them opened up. These get really tight. So I'm going to go, just folding that over. So first thing I'd say, when you're kneeling on the floor, if you're on wood, put something on your knee. It's not nice. I've got quite a thin mat here, so I'm just going to double it up. So, kneeling on my right knee, left leg posted up in front of me. First thing I'm going to do is squeeze my abs. A little bit of tension there. And that's going to start pulling my hips up. Then I'm going to squeeze my bum muscle on that right side, so the glute muscle. Squeezing that. And then all I'm going to do is gently rock forwards. And I don't have to go that far. There's always a temptation to kind of really overstretch. And now I'm just arching my back. So it's really important keeping the abs engaged, glute squeeze, rocking, and back. Again, breathing. Breathing in, breathing out. Gently rocking forwards and back. Always breathing into the stomach, the sides, and the lower back, rather than up into your shoulders and chest. We should feel a nice stretch down the front of the right thigh. So my right knee's on the floor, and hopefully a stretch down the front of that right leg up to the pelvis, or anywhere along that point. Along that line. We'll do one more, and we'll do the other side. I think this one's really trying to undo that 90-degree sitting position. I'll spin around the other way so you can feel what I'm doing. Again, squeezing the left glute, engaging through the abdominal muscles, and rocking forwards. You can see my back's flat, not going into an arch. If we're going to an arch, I can keep going. I've got no stretch. Second, I keep everything engaged, core and glutes. And that's the bum muscle. Then I start to get a nice stretch down the front of the left leg. Breathe. Breathing does a few things. One is really important. It engages the core muscles properly, oxygenates us. But also, if you breathe well, it tells your body to relax. And right now, trying to get some movement. We don't want tight muscles. A little bit of movement with some relaxation. Last one. Okay, so now we're going to go into my favorite core exercise. So we've got the hips moving, we've got the upper back moving. Now we want to try and wake up these muscles around the stomach. So you're going to lie on your back, legs bent at about 90 degrees, feet flat on the floor. And you're going to start by just resting your hands on your stomach and breathing. So the first thing you want to do is just check in with the body. When I breathe in, I want my hands to come up a bit, the stomach expands. As I breathe out, drop back down. And that's three-dimensional, so it's not just up and down, it's side to side as well. So the ribs and the muscles below the ribs should expand and come back in. And as I mentioned, it's 3 dimensions, so the lower back as well should be doing the same thing. Breathing, opening up the back muscles. And actually as well, you've got work from the pelvic floor and the diaphragm as well. So that's that whole cylinder working. Then I want to just make sure my body's in a good position. So I want to be here with my neck craned, looking up. Nice long line through the spine, feeling the back pressing into the floor. And then I'm just going to bring my legs up to here. And now I'm having to use those stomach muscles as well. I can rest the back of my hands on the floor. Head's in a good position, trying to activate through these core muscles. So you can make this a little bit harder by bringing some movement in. So I'm going to keep my hands down, palms facing up. I'm just going to move my legs a bit. And as I do that, the stomach muscles, core muscles, having to work quite hard to keep me stable. If I want to make it a little bit harder, I bring my arms in as well. I'm going to do opposite arm and leg moving away. I'm keeping my back on the floor. Note there's no arch under my back. I'm not starting to lift up. Arms are moving, alternating. And you want to make it even harder. If this is too easy for you, rather than just moving, we're going to come to the end range and hold and breathe. So I'm not holding my breath. You hear him talking. You can hear a little bit more tension in my voice. The muscles are working. This is starting to build up the support all around the stomach and the lower back. If you're doing this, you might get a little bit warmer. Not a bad thing. One more on each side. Okay, nice. So, we then want to think about, so we've worked along the stomach muscle at the front. We want to get a little bit more work 3-dimensionally. So, one of the easiest ways to do this, I say easiest, because it's not the world's easiest exercise, but give it a go. First, I'm going to start in a kneeling plank. Then I'm going to give my knees up. I'm going to bring my feet up, sorry. So, I don't want to be arching into the back. I want a nice strong line through there. I can go this, knees together, and just rolling into a side plank. So I want this to be dynamic. I'm going to hold a plank, there's some benefits to that, but I really like adding movement in. So I'm going to roll back into my front, and then a roll to the other side. A nice lifted. Again, really important if you're doing this, something soft under your knees. Doing this on the wooden floor, it's not going to be fun. Controlling. So now we're dealing with the muscles down the sides, but also all the muscles that deal with rotation. Again, if this is too easy, fine. You've got a solution. Up on your feet instead. And same idea. Twisting, hips up nice and high. In some ways, it's easier to rotate when you're higher up, but there's a lot more work for the side. So again, have any pain in the shoulders or anything, go for the easier version. We're just keeping this moving, and I'm breathing. Shoulders are relaxed, my neck's relaxed. All that working through the areas we want to work, stomach, sides, and relaxing the areas that we don't need to work. Again, one benefit of this one, we'll do one more on each side. We start to get some work into the hip flexors as well. As I mentioned, we've been stretching those, but we want them to be strong as well. Okay, nice. So starting to get a little bit of activity through here. So we've done the dead bug to start these muscles really working. And we've done that rotating plank, the idea of just getting the body a little bit more reactive, a little bit more responsive. It's really what we want, and it's what we lose when we spend a lot of time sitting. So I'm just going to tip the monitor back a little. Okay. So the last area we want to work on is getting the glutes working. So the glutes have got a lot more use than just being padding to sit on. Again, the biggest muscle in the body, should be the most powerful muscle in the body, massively protects our lower back as well. Trust me, once you've had lower back pain, you will do anything to get rid of it. So my favorite exercise to start with this is what I call a single leg deadlift. So I'm going to stand on my left leg. I'll show you these in a couple of different directions. You can see what I'm doing. I'm standing on my left leg. I'm going to slide my right leg back and reach my arms forward at the same time. So my knee hasn't really gone forward, it's quite upright. I'm sitting most of my weight back into the bum of my left leg. So there's not too much weight on that right leg. And then coming up. I'm sitting back, like I'm sitting back onto a chair, but on one leg only. And at first you may need to squeeze through the glute. So if you imagine clenching your bum, that's the action you need to potentially get at first. If you haven't done much work on the glute, you might need to wake them up, fire them up a little bit. Sliding back. And up. Again, all the same rules apply. That dead bug type pressure into the stomach, so I'm supporting my back. And relax through my shoulders, my arms are reaching forward, I'm not tense, relaxing my neck. Now that's too easy. I'm going to add a little bit of a balance element to it. The same thing, but rather than sliding the foot on the floor, I'm just going to reach back, and that's fully hovering, then come back up. And that really ensures that all the work's coming from that left leg. That's challenges the balance, and that's never a bad thing. Then reaching back, then up. Breathing. We'll do 3 more on this side. I'll still show you this way. So you can see. Just trying to keep everything stable. Reaching back. Okay, same on the other side. Now I'm standing on my right leg. Again, you might notice I've stepped off the mat. I prefer to go on nice solid ground, but whatever works for you. And I'm going to slide that left leg back. Shoulders relaxed, neck relaxed. Core strong, glutes working. Again, if I need to squeeze the glutes a bit to wake them up, that's fine. By that I mean really just clenching bum muscles. Sitting back into the hips. Squeeze through there. And remember, tougher version means not putting your foot down as you reach back. But do the one that's right for you. If that becomes too much of a challenge for your balance, and you lose the benefits of the glutes, then go back to the easier one. No shame in it at all. It's all about finding what's right for you. We'll do 3 more. Alan looks like he's doing some there. How about that? He's good at miming, I'm not sure. And last one, core strong, breathing. Okay. And one last exercise for the legs. Just get you again, spend a little time down here in a weak position so we need to get strong in that position. So we're going to go nice and wide. Again, all I'm going to do is shift my weight to one side and back to the middle. I'm opening up the hips a bit and getting my individual legs working. I'm shifting to the other side and then back up. So again, stance is probably double my shoulder width, doesn't have to be too wide. I'm not trying to do splits. Sitting into one side and coming up. What I'm trying to do is just make the body realize there's a few more positions in life than the 90 degrees sat at a chair, and also getting your body working in those similar positions. So the lower I get, the closer I am to my sitting position, but I'm firing those muscles up, really waking them up, reigniting that spark in the muscles. I'm going to show you a few of these side on, just so you can see, in case it's not clear what I'm doing. I'm shifting to the side, pushing the bum back. It's going to have to go too low, but obviously, if you want to make it harder, very simple. You get lower. But you only go as low as you can control the form. So I'm trying to go quite low, but if I get to the point and I start rounding and doing something like this, then I'm going to bring it back up. Always want to make sure you're exercising well before you try and push too hard or do too much. Let's do 1 more on each side to finish up. And the last one. Okay, so hopefully, if you played along, and hopefully you feel the benefits already. The idea being, this is quick, it's short, it's sharp. You can do this first thing in the morning, you can do it on your lunch break, do it at the end of the day to undo any of the tightness and damage you're doing. But it has to be, if I give you an hour program, it could be the best thing in the world, but you're not going to do it. Whereas that should be easy to do. 10 minutes, 15 minutes max, and then at least you know you've done something good for your body. Okay, so we are now going to move into the Q&A section. Alan, you say you'd already queued up some questions?
Yeah. So I need to catch my breath back first. So that was great. Thank you so much. There are a few comments more than questions coming in. So Ahmad, for example, mentioned that he does some yoga sessions from YouTube. So obviously, you know, people use whatever resources are available. So just one question though that I'll ask, and then we can have a discussion. So I was asked the question, so I used to go to the gym 4 or 5 times a week. Obviously I can't now, I've lost my motivation. How do I get that motivation back? And I guess routines and such like when I'm at home.
So that's a really good question. I think a lot of people are in the same boat. And actually I've had times during this lockdown where I've lost my usual routine. I was the same thing. I was hitting the gym 5 times a week, 6 times a week, and then the gym went away, which also happened to be where I work. It's doubly annoying. So what I'd say is, don't think about the big picture. Don't think about, how do I get back into the routine? Start small and just do one thing. So I found all I would do is go, right. I tried to work out, you know, what was stopping me doing the stuff. And actually it was because I was getting busy with other things. So for me, what I found helped was finish my breakfast before I get to my laptop. Don't even go near my laptop before I do, you know, depending on what time I've got sessions with clients. But I'll get out and I'll just do something straight away. And it doesn't have to be an hour-long thing. Again, it'll probably be 20 minutes. I'm just going to do, you know, 2 exercises. I've superset something small, and then it's done. And then I was like, okay, that's nice. It feels good. You know, once you finished it, you feel like you've got the endorphins. You're like, oh, I feel great. And then the next day, I'll do the same thing. So I just started to get into a little routine, finding the time that was most likely for me to go and do the exercise, but I wasn't getting distracted with something else. I wasn't out going for a walk with my wife or having lunch or anything else. So it's like, right, for me, the morning has to work. So you've got to kind of find that period of time that's going to suit you best. And then was not stressing about getting into a full routine, but just focusing on, let me just do something today. And then tomorrow, I'll do the same thing. I'm like, oh, yeah, it felt good. I'm going to do something today again. And just one day at a time, and suddenly you're back into a routine. You might fall off again, but then you just know how to get yourself back on. So just to say, start small and find the time that's going to work best for you.
Great. And there was another comment, you know, a couple of people said they enjoyed those routines, and I did as well. And there's one other question, but before I ask that question from the chat, let's just open it up to see if anyone wants to make a comment or ask a question from, you know, from the people who are on. You scared a few people away, I think, Ben, but there's still, you know, a good number on.
I have that,
so that's
good.
People. That's good, right? So for anyone who's on the call still, do you want to ask Ben something, make a comment, you know, please unmute yourself first.
Everyone's scared, that's right.
Yeah, no, there might not be, but Ben, you made me think, look, before I ask the other question, you made me think that I've been running all these sessions and I've got a whole bunch that I'm running tomorrow as well. There's absolutely no need for me to be sitting down for all of them, right? I'm sitting down generally, like without thinking, I was sitting down for an hour because each one's an hour and I'm there chatting,
yeah.
You know, I'm doing stuff. But there's no reason why I needed to, right? So tomorrow I'll be standing up for sure, at least for some of them. But so
yeah, great.
So let me ask the one other question that came through then. From the exercises you were doing, so you know, like you obviously demonstrated, which ones are for which parts of the body? Because you mentioned, you know, glutes or core muscles, etc. Could you just recap on which ones were for example, let's just choose one for glutes. Someone's focusing on their glute muscles or their core muscles. Which one from the range that you were shown would you recommend? Or so, are you saying do the lot?
So I would say do the lot. The idea being, what I've noticed working with desk-bound people is that you get tight upper back, you get weaker core, tight hips, weak glutes. So if you just do all of them, and again, I explained, the first one we rotated, that's upper back. That's trying to get this all moving because this all gets locked in here. Then we did hips. We did the kneeling hip flexor. That's opening this up. Then we did switching this on in a couple of different ways with the dead bug in this position, and then the rotating plank. Again, that's all just firing this up. And then the last two were glutes and legs. So again, the other thing, I always talk about glutes, but essentially you're in a squat position, but supported. So your body just gets very used to collapsing into that position. So it's just making sure that your body can handle all of those positions and get the muscles firing back up. So there was like 2 for mobility, 2 for the core, 2 for the glutes. And that's 6 exercises. No excuse not to be able to do them.
Yeah. Okay, great. And another question's come in. And as Mashfiq has asked, what is your suggestion if I get neck pain, especially after working long hours, right? So, you know, because sometimes obviously whether you're standing up or not, if the person has neck pain, what could they do from either the exercise you've shown or just others that you have in your locker?
Okay, so I'll answer that in 2 parts. So firstly, if you're getting neck pain after doing anything, that's a sign. Pain is just a signal. Pain's just letting you know something's not right with, you know, that's if you get struck, it's letting you know that something just happened. If you're not, if it's just from your position, it's telling you something is wrong with your position. So first thing I would look at is I always like the analogy. I go off on little tangents. If you've got a bath that's filling with water, if you want to empty the bath, you've got to take the plug out, sure. But if you don't stop that tap, it's going to take a lot longer. So think of stopping the tap as being, if your neck is hurting, I bet you're on a laptop down here, or you're at a desktop and you're crunched here, or you're slouching back here. Essentially, not good positions. So first thing you do is look at your setup and see, can I improve it? Can I get my screen at eye level? And can I make sure I'm sitting well? If you struggle to sit well for long periods of time, good. Get up, move, stretch, get yourself moving. But also, as I mentioned, the neck gets bullied by the upper back. By that I mean, when the upper back becomes a stiff shell, it doesn't move, now all my movement's got to come from my neck. And that's going to get strained. So looking up at the computer, doing anything. So the first exercise, when we're lying on the floor, rotating open, that's going to get the back moving. Do a bit of a neck support, particularly if you're getting neck pain. And that will allow you to get back into this good position rather than being here. So that's the key one. And second, because the body is a whole system, core still, because if your core's not working, then we're going to be here, or we're going to be here. You've got to get this firing up. And again, glutes. So as weird as it sounds, you've got to get everything working. But get this moving, get your core strong, and get out of those bad positions. Hopefully that helps, Mashfiq.
Yeah. Yeah, and Mashfiq's ran great, so they obviously appreciate that. And another question's come in, Ben. Is skipping rope exercises effective? So what's your view around skipping?
Yeah, so I try and take the viewpoint that whatever you do to get active, as long as it's not something that's particularly bad for you, great, do it. If Zumba works for you, you want to get a little dance on, do Zumba. If you enjoy skipping and it's something you're going to do, sure, definitely do it. My caveat to everything is if you start something new, you've never done skipping before, build into it. I know a lot of people who do the classic thing of like, I need to get fit, I'm going to go running, and then they injure themselves. They get plantar fasciitis, they get Achilles tendon problems. So yes, skipping is effective, but it's a lot of work on the plantar, a lot of work on the Achilles. So build into it slowly, start small, but really good cardio. Yeah, boxers use it, and boxers are some of the most fit people when they're at fight level. So yeah, if you enjoy it, go for it.
Okay. Thanks, Ben. So again, no other questions in the chat, but let's just open it up to see if there's any other questions or comments people want to make, and remember to unmute yourself if you do. Anyone? Okay, great. So I think we're done, Ben. So yeah, really appreciate it. I think a lot of people did. Any final thoughts from yourself before I stop the recording?
So as I say, keep it. Always remember the kind of 2 sides of things. There's prevention and there's cure. And sometimes we need to do a little bit of both. So if you're having any issues now, please work on that prevention stuff. Standing desks and all the work. Actually, on Pain Relief Guys, we've got a lot of blogs on best standing desks, a bunch of things around that, good tools to use. It's all completely, so it's a lot of free advice on there if you guys want it. But also then just make sure, watch back this video after Adam sends it to you and just get those exercises into your routine each day.